Hello, it's Delusion Dispeller, and I thought I would make a video to kind of update you on what's been going on with me. A lot has been going on with me. I'm still working as a paraeducator. I really like my job most of the time, and I'm happy and thankful that I have it. Right now I'm going through some struggles that began October 13th of this year. I used to attend a church. I won't name the name of it, but it was a Assemblies of Yahweh type church. Been there for probably over a year, I think, or maybe close to a year. I'm not really sure. And turned out to be not such a great arrangement. I don't know if I'm ready to say it's a cult, but I guess it's kind of cult-ic if it's not a cult. Some things that cautioned me about what was going on was extreme legalism, seeming underlying putting down of people that didn't believe the way we did. Even though they say that they don't, there still is this attitude that if you don't use a certain way of worship or expressing a certain name of God, then you are doomed. So many words. Anyway, we actually heard the pastor get up and preach a sermon in which he said two things that concerned me. I think they were two different sermons. One was that it's okay to lie as long as it's like an omission, sort of, not an out-and-out lie. Lying to kind of get out of things, lying to get away with things, that sort of thing. And the thing that bothered me, that was the thing that bothered my husband the most, but the thing that bothered me the most was when the pastor said he had been very, very sick, and he made kind of this bargain, I guess, with God, Yahweh, as he called him, which that's God's actual name, yes, in Hebrew. He said to Yahweh, if it pleases you to heal me, then heal me. If not, I'm fine with you just taking my life. I'm a word of faith believer, so I don't believe that God really ever wants anybody to have their life taken from them abruptly or prematurely, so that just kind of set me off. Another thing was, there are a lot of people at this congregation assembly getting very, very sick. Like, we're talking severe illnesses, cancer. I don't know all of the illnesses, just really sick illnesses. The pastor's daughter was very ill. I never did find out what her problem was. The pastor himself got ill. We had something called the Feast of Tabernacles. You might remember me filming. And I got very ill, like really, really sick. Like, I don't get sick like this. And I've been sick ever since with different things, which I'll get into in a minute. October 13th, I went to the Feast of Tabernacles that week. I think it was like the 9th through whatever. It was like a almost 2-week feast or something like that. I ended up with really bad diarrhea. Ended up in the ER out there where the feast was held. They labeled it food poisoning or traveler's diarrhea. They weren't sure. I went back home. Well, first of all, I called the pastor to pray for me. And his prayer was sort of really haphazardly like, well, Yahweh, you know, she's your child. And we're asking for you to touch her body and heal her. And if it be your will that she recover, then, you know, so be it. If not, then that's fine too, type of thing. And I was like, yeah, that was a real prayer of faith. Thanks. I'll call on you again to pray for me. I used to joke about that and say if I ever was in the hospital, I would have faith-filled people come and pray over me. I wouldn't let just anybody. But in that case, I was very convinced that this was the church we were supposed to be at. So I let him pray over me. And, yeah, needless to say, I did not feel better. In fact, I got worse. I ended up having to leave the celebration early, drive back home, go to a hospital there, where I was, I believe they admitted me for like 3 days or something at that point. I was really that sick. Okay, so shortly after that, I started my new job on the 17th of October. On the 29th of October, I developed a very itchy rash. November 17th, my husband and I renewed our vows. I didn't have any rash then. November 18th, I started having trouble sleeping. On December 4th, my lip swelled up. Just like the right side of my lip. A couple days later, the other side of my lip swelled up. I would take off time from work, and then I'd go back to work. My husband ended up in the ER. Needless to say, we both had a lot of illnesses we were dealing with. He was diagnosed with pleurisy, reflux, pneumonia. On the 27th, I started getting really bad welts. Started on antihistamines on the 28th of December. Ended up back in the ER on the 29th of December. And on the 30th, I ended up with welts again. January 2nd, hives. January 5th, still had hives. January 6th, just one hive left. Just a little bit of a welt. January 12th, I ended up at the doctor or the ER, we're not sure. The 15th, the ER with another swelled lip. This time the top of my lip swelled up. Oh no, that was the other side of my lip, sorry. On the 17th, I had welts on the back of my legs. The 19th, I had a swelled upper lip. On the 20th, I had rashes on my arms and all over my body. On the 24th, I had welts on the back of my legs, on my back. My cheek had swelled up on the left side, and my eye was shutting closed. On the 27th, we rewashed all of our laundry in a totally different laundry detergent. Did not help. I ended up with welts on my legs, on my belly, all over my face, my neck, behind my ears, down the sides of my face. And on the 28th, I ended up back in the ER again. On the 29th, I had welts and angioedema again. More swelling of the face, the neck, the whole body. I'm still puffy right now from a lot of it, I'm sure, but other stuff I'll talk about in a minute. On the 30th of January, I was itching profusely, covered in welts by the 31st of January. Now, the interesting thing that we also noted was this particular church has dorms. When you drive up to it, it looks like a cult compound. You can stay in those dorms if you want to. They don't charge you. You can stay overnight. You can stay several nights if there's like a feast or something. Everybody has their own dorm rooms, and whatever, families have dorm rooms. Nothing particularly sinister, kind of odd, because most churches don't have that, but I wouldn't say that would label them as a cult because they have dorm rooms. They have a lot of food. The Feast of Tabernacles is literally just feasting, like eating all the time. All the time. And it's all kinds of foods that everybody's hands are touching. They do not wear gloves. I've never seen anybody wear gloves when they prepared food there, ever. You have little kids with runny noses touching spoons and utensils and whatever. You also have every kind of food that you're not used to eating all the time, all the time, all the time. I think this is what ruined my immune system, caused me to break out in these welts, something I was allergic to, something I was sensitive to, I don't know. I can't blame them for that because I ate the food, but nonetheless, it's provided regularly after every service and at feast times. So you're overindulging in food. A lot of times you're up all night, not getting enough sleep, which is very characteristic of cultic activity, although this was a feast, so kind of a celebration. So it's kind of up to you when you want to go to sleep or whatever. That, again, does not label them as a cult. Let's go back to my symptoms. February 1st, I started prednisone. Hate the stuff. Absolutely hate it and love it all at the same time because it did get rid of the welts. I'm not itching anymore. I'm sleeping at night, which is wonderful, but now I have to withdraw from the prednisone. And let me tell you, it's not easy and it's very scary. So prednisone day 1, on that Monday, which I believe was last week, I broke out when the 10 milligrams of prednisone wore off. So Sunday through Tuesday, I was still breaking out. I went to see the allergist. He increased the prednisone, added Singulair, 1 famotidine, 2 Zyrtec. I didn't take all that medicine. I refused to take all that medicine. I took 1 Singulair, I think 1 famotidine, and maybe 1 Zyrtec, and ended up so jittery the next day I ended up back in the ER. That was on the 7th of February. That brings me to Wednesday, when I started tapering off the prednisone gradually. What I did was at 12 noon, I took 3 3/4 prednisone. Then at 9 p.m., I took 1 prednisone. I didn't have any hives still. I still haven't gotten hives back. Thursday, I reduced it a little more. 3 1/2 prednisone at 6 a.m. and at 5:30 p.m., 1 1/4 prednisone. That is tonight. It is Thursday now. I am supposed to be on 3 prednisone only by Monday. So hopefully that works out well and I can do it. I've been very, very sick. I'm starting to get a puffy face, which really concerns me, but I'm tapering down, so I'm encouraging myself to eat healthy during this time to build up my immune system. Because literally when you come off of prednisone, your immune system has to kick back in. Basically, the drug takes over for your immune system. It shuts down your normal immune system and puts an abnormal immune system in there, an artificial one. So now my body has to go through an adjustment period. I'm not going to say withdrawals because I'm not speaking that over myself. I'm not going to have withdrawal effects, but I am going to adjust and my body's going to adapt slowly back into making its own cortisol and into building its own immunity back up. What I'm concerned about right now is I work around children that are not well. They have colds. A lot of them have flus and flu symptoms. I'm trying very hard not to end up taking on any of those germs. So keep me in prayer about that. Anyway, I just wanted to update you, let you know what's going on. As you can see, I no longer wear the titchel, the head covering. That's part of my pulling away from that old law and the old way of thinking. And yes, I know some of you have joined me, are Yahwehians, and you believe that that is the only way and that is his true name. And yes, I agree with you on that. However, I'm not returning unto a yoke of bondage, and I think that was the mistake I made. I started making really unhealthy choices in my life to overindulge in things, which gluttony is a sin. So let's face it, there should have been preaching about balance and eating right, and it should have been food that was not highly sugared and highly sweet, and it's out of balance. The whole thing is out of balance, and it got me out of balance. And I think that's why my body started attacking itself. I think it was a wake-up call from Yahweh, the Lord, whoever you want to call him. It was him saying, you know what, things are out of whack. Take a step back, look at what you're doing, see if this is really where I want you. It was a learning experience, and I'm glad we did it, but I'm not going back. And I don't know. I don't know if I'd ever go back to even visit, to be honest. I've seen marriages break up. I've seen people get cancer. I've heard of countless people in that congregation dying. One of the chief teachers just recently left and became a Jewish rabbi or is getting into Judaism. You know, what's up with that? It just, yeah, things didn't add up. And I don't understand that whole story about that guy leaving or whatever, so it's just my surmising. I will say the people were very good to us as much as they knew how to be good to us. But it seemed like as soon as they came and saw my house and said they were going to help me with it, they underhandedly kind of insulted me and said, well, when you can clean it up, we'll help you lay the floor. They haven't been back since, and when I've asked about it, they've kind of beat around the bush about it. So I kind of think after they saw that I'm struggling, you know, with some, I guess, low finances or whatever, that their whole attitude towards us kind of changed. Just a sense that I get. There just was a lot of things awry, and I'm glad to be out of there, and I'm glad to be free. I'm now attending, well, I visited a Word of Faith church, which is more in lines of what I believe, and it was really refreshing and free to go there and rejoice again and feel like this weight was kind of lifted off of me. So now just the healing process continues with the prednisone, coming off of it and getting my body back to being myself again. So keep me in prayer for that. I welcome all your comments. I appreciate all of you for following me through the years and being loyal fans and followers and viewers and friends and acquaintances and whatever you've been in my life. I appreciate you, and I want you to know that. So on that note, I'm getting tired. I need to go. Probably drink some water or something. My throat's kind of raspy. All of this is an effect of the prednisone. It makes you feel pretty fluish, even though I didn't get the flu, nor did I get the flu shot. I feel really like I have influenza or a cold or something, and I'm battling it. But I'm going to win. I'm going to overcome this, and I'm going to get healthy and well, and I'm not going to have any major issues from this prednisone. I'll be off of it, and the hives will not come back because I'm going to start really watching what I eat and paying attention to what's triggering these hives, and learn how to improve my body and my mind and my immune system and my health overall. Anyway, love you all. Eyes wide open moving forward. This is Delusion Dispeller. Look forward to hearing from you and staying in touch. And I'll be back when I have more to share. God bless. For now, be well.